Welcome to Critical Misses. We were just discussing responsible alcohol consumption off stage, but we're here now for some Zweihander. I am your GM tonight, Tom TP Grant. I use he, him pronouns. And before we get started, we're going to go around and meet our cast, starting with Julio. Julio, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. What's up, y'all? My name's Julio. You can find me at Poppy John Plu on Twitter, Instagram, all over the internets. I'm there. And you can hit me with the he, him pronouns. My character's name is Canario, and he is going to be a fun and interesting guy.
And moving on down to Velvet.
Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I'm Velvet. I'll be playing Maeve Baylor. We both use Fae-Fair pronouns. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the interwebs at OG Brown Sugar.
All right, moving on over to Faye. Hi, Faye.
Hi. Oh, sorry. I'm a dumbass. I'm Almost Faye. I use she, they pronouns on everything, and you can find me at Almost Faye on Twitch, Twitter, and now TikTok, because my friends are monsters and gave me this thing called confidence.
And the surprise was entirely my fault because we skipped the person whose fault it is that you're on TikTok, I'm assuming, and that's Kelsey. How you doing, Kelsey?
Hi, I'm Kelsey. I use she, her pronouns. You can find me on Twitter as @crochet_baby, and you will probably also see me in the chat as a chat gremlin, as Crouchy Old Woman. And tonight I will be playing Twilight Harper.
Outstanding. And last but not least, Anna. Anna, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. My name is Anna, at Nibiria941, pretty much everywhere online. I use she, they pronouns, and today I am back with Agnieszka, the Grendel Bard, actually working on making us a little song for this show that hopefully I'll be able to share with all of you all very soon. But yeah, hi everybody. Thank you for showing up and being in chat and coming to hang out with us through our dark fae fantasy bullshit tonight. It's going to be great.
All right. Well, tonight we are playing Zweihander, which is a system specifically made for dark, low fantasy. We are playing with safety tools, so all of our players remain comfortable and happy as we move our way through. Last time on the Twilight Road, our players all met as they were preparing to embark through a forest legendary in the region for being a stronghold of fae and evil things. As they are preparing to embark, as they traveled, there was a bit of light murder on the road, which caused the blood of a murdered person drew the attention of goblins, who in this world are the very embodiments of violent death and need the blood of murdered people to create more goblins. They came to collect the body and were fought off by, amongst others, our intrepid party. Then later the next night, several of the party members were drawn off the road, which was the number one rule, was stay on the road, and have been assaulted by several angry tree spirits led by a red cap. And when we last left our party, they were doing just fine, as they all, I believe, except for Agnieszka and possibly Xenia, have been entangled by the branches. Who's the last person that was not entangled? I believe it was
Maeve.
It was Maeve.
Trees can't touch this.
Yeah, it was. And as things were looking quite grim. B was actually pinned to the ground by vines. Canario was being stretched apart as the tree was beginning to try to tear his face open. And as that was beginning to happen, suddenly a glowing, huge white stag emerged into the clearing. And when this stag enters, there is a large reaction from the red cap and the forest dryads as their heads whip around as this creature lands, as it leaps into the clearing that you were in, and stands very regally looking as it turns its head, the red cap turning and saying, you have no more authority here. The newcomer has cast you out. And as it stands, its head turns to look at Maeve, and you yet again hear the voice inside your head. And this time when you hear the voice, it speaks to you and it says,
"You must run. You are like a child. You will grow strong. You will hunt like a wolf cub who comes to run with the pack. But you must survive. I will deal with these ingrates."
and as you hear that voice, the glow around the stag increases. Xena, you feel the vines or the branches that have closed around your throat and have started to crush begin to loosen as the glow grows. Canario, the vines stretching you apart and starting to travel into your mouth begin to retract. B, the vines wrapping you down to the ground begin to loosen. And they are all have their attention firmly fixated on this stag. We're going to move around, and I want to know, with this moment of opportunity, what do you do? And I'm going to start with Canario. Canario, you feel this loosening. What do you want to do with this opportunity?
As this is loosening, he kind of sinks down, and he's going to just observe, because clearly we're outnumbered, and he's not much of a fighting man.
Do you want to try to break free of the trees holding you?
Oh, yeah. So he's still being held. It's just not...
Yes, it's looser now. So I'm going to say that
Gotcha.
You can, if you want to make an attempt, you can make an athletics and add 10 to your target.
Athletics and add 10. Let's go for it. And athletics is brawn?
Yes, it's under brawn. Or no, it's under agility. My bad.
No, athletics is under brawn.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so, yep. That's a 32 out of 51.
As you take your arms free, you actually tear some of the growing branches off of these tree creatures who do not seem to notice, as they are shrinking away from this growing light. Moving on down, what does Maeve do as the other creatures seem to be distracted, but B and Xena are still being held?
Do I get the sense that only I heard the voice, or that like we all heard it?
You see the others looking, but you don't see anyone react as if they heard a voice. This seems to be just you.
Okay, I'm gonna try to gather. I know Agnieszka was pretty close to me, so I'm gonna try to just shake them and tax a little bit and just be like, "The stag says we have to run."
Let's get B and Zia.
As you say that, what does B do?
So B is going to take this brief moment of opportunity to potentially make things worse. She is going to... you said there was a little bit of loosening, right? So presumably I could reach into my bag.
Mm-hmm.
So the knife that I took off of the body earlier, I'm gonna grab that, and I'm gonna stick it into whatever part of the tree that I can with both hands, and try to channel all of the magical energy that I can and focus on the feeling from when I turned that patch into flowers.
So you're gonna try to
see what happens.
So roll me a incantation test and roll me at a plus 10.
Okay. I rolled 51 under 62.
There is a swirling of that chill, crisp air again as you feel the magic winds gather, and you actually can feel yourself almost as if you're siphoning it through yourself. And as you try to push it into the creature, something odd happens. It doesn't push into the creature, it pushes you back as you move down into the ground. And for the rest of you, you see B suddenly just be swallowed by the earth. For B, it is a entirely comfortable transportation as you emerge, let's say about 20 feet from the ground, completely standing, untouched now, as you have traveled through the earth.
Okay.
Get out of here with that protein bullshit. This isn't vampire.
So
I fucking love that spell.
as I come back up out of the ground and I'm standing, I kind of look around and I'm like really, really confused. I'm going to turn to Zia and say, see, I told you I'd go into the woods.
Meanwhile, Zia, you are currently being held by the throat by a branch hand, but it's starting to loosen as B makes a snide comment in your direction. What would you like to do?
Can Zia take her black powder and do light in the black powder again, but in the face of this tree this time?
I would say if yes, because this one was actually pretty hurt, if I'm remembering correctly. So go ahead and do that. Mark off one shot's worth of powder as you just dump some powder out of your horn and then just try to light it. And make
Roll 99.
Oh no. I'm gonna say I need you to roll me a d6.
Just one?
Yes, just one.
Okay.
And let me know what you get.
3.
3? I'm going to say that you take 8 points of damage as this explodes not only on the tree, but also yourself. The tree, however, I'm going to have to roll 2d6 for to see if it takes an injury. It rolls a 6, so I'm going to say for all intents and purposes, this tree is now ineffectively combat as its arm is now completely aflame and it pulls back from you. What damage tracker are you currently at, Z?
Previously winded.
Uh-oh, roll me 3d6.
Oh, shit.
Oh, boy.
Second roll. 1, 1. 3 ones. Great.
You get out without
Lucky.
any injuries, which is amazingly lucky because the grievous injury table is let's just say Canario would have his work cut out for him.
It is possible to roll an instantly slain on the
It is
grievous
possible
injury
to
table.
instantly die on that table.
Yeah, that's the bad one.
Now, finally, Agneska. What does Agneska do?
So Z has gotten out of the grasp of this tree.
Yes.
Basically, I want to run over to where they are and try help them up and be like, "Come on, we've got to run. Let's hoof it. Let's get out of here."
Yes.
And I'm following Maeve because Faye was the one that said we need to run, and I'm like, I guess I'm just following you now since you seem to know where we should go.
Mm-hmm.
We're off the road.
I'm going to say
the
that
Lorax. Oh no, wait! I don't talk to trees. Never mind.
You don't talk to trees. You talk to stags. Let's be clear.
B could be the Lorax, though. You literally just tunneled into the ground and then popped up out of the ground again like a tree.
As you all run, the creatures do not pursue, and the light of the stag removes the glamour that was disguising where the road was. You can see off in the distance, about 120 yards distance, are the campfires of the caravan. You can see them flickering in between the wagons. You can see the horses. This is most definitely the caravan and not the lights that led you astray. And as you run, one more time, Maeve, you hear that voice in your head as you run and says,
I will have a use for you. Grow strong. Feel the energy of the hunt.
as you all run back to the caravan. Now, what do you do as you make your way out of the woods back to the... you are arriving out of the woods. How do you wish to arrive, and where do you wish to go? Let's start in reverse order. I was gonna say, let's start in reverse order. Let's go with Agnieszka first, and then we'll go to Zia, and we'll make our way around.
So I guess as we're running, two things. One is I want to rack my brain, my little Grendel brain, furiously to see if there is anything about a magical white stag appearing in the forest that I know anything about.
Roll me a folklore test.
Okay, I just took a dot in that, so that's a 49 now to beat. 72. Awesome.
Yeah. No,
great. Yeah. Yeah.
So you are racking your mind, returning to the caravan. What is Zia doing?
Zia is going straight for her cart just to lie down and be like, nope, I'm fucking done. I need to sleep.
B, we'll get to in a moment. Canario.
He settles back in once he kind of hurriedly rushes back to the caravan. He kind of settles in his wagon and just kind of sits in the corner and drinks to himself. Mm-hmm. Of course, if anyone has any outstanding wounds to take care of, he would definitely do that, but he seems a little startled.
On your way back, you would have definitely assessed. Zia has some pretty serious burns at this moment, and probably a cracked rib, and definitely needs some attention.
Well, let's get to that.
Are you talking about the burns from the tree or the burns from Twillaby?
I mean both, but only one of them Canario can treat. Also, I apologize because I was looking at our Zoom chat and not the overlay, which is why I skipped Mabe. So I will come back to you. I apologize.
It's all good.
Should I go ahead and make the heal check now?
Yes.
All right. So that is 65. Let's go. 75. No.
Would you like to use a fortune point to reroll that?
I do have a boon.
You want to use the boon for a
You're too excited about that. I don't know about that.
I mean, we have a game mechanic for rerolling.
I'll do the fate point. You can. I'll throw you a fate point.
So we'll do. Don't throw me a fate point. Throw me a fortune point. Fate points.
A fortune point.
Yeah, fate points are for not dying. Those are for if you die.
I like that. Fortune.
So,
here we go.
Fortune point. Go ahead and reroll.
62.
62. So you succeed.
Still high. Yes.
And if I remember correctly, a barber surgeon heals 2 tracks. Correct?
Yes. What additional time? Yep. So 2.
So you are able to move 2 tracks up as the burn is treated, bandages are wrapped, and you get a nice tight wrap around your ribs. And while that whatever popped in your ribs still hurts, it's a little easier to move with this wrap.
Zia, I hope this helps, but if you'd like some company, perhaps we can share a drink together.
That sounds like a better plan than my plan. I was going to try and burn down more of the forest. Ow.
Please, I don't have a heart for more Fae bullshit.
I was just going to start shooting trees. They're dicks. Fuck them. Let's go get some booze.
He produces a flask of his own.
Oh, fuck yes.
When you say Fae bullshit, Agnieszka just sort of cuts their eyes over to you and is just like, and hasn't sheathed the mortuary sword, so I'll just go and post up on the perimeter because I'm not like entirely convinced that that red cap or any of these trees haven't just been like, ready or not, here I come. Because red caps are real assholes. So I'm just gonna, I see that face. I'm suspicious as fuck. I'm going to stay on the outside of this perimeter and just keep watch if there is any danger nearby.
Agnieszka, please, a drink. Take a break. I think we got lucky tonight, so perhaps we should ride this luck.
We certainly did get lucky. It was thanks to Maid's quick thinking that we were eventually able to make it out of there with, well, I guess in your case, our skin intact. She just kind of looks down at the like lower goat half of her body and just like, yeah, okay. I just give me a moment to make sure that everything is safe and secure, and maybe I'll come join you in a minute. She's very clearly on very high alert right now.
That's fair.
Before we go to B, let's go. What does Maeve do?
I would also like to consult my wealth of folklore knowledge, see if I know anything about this white stag.
Ooh, roll me a folklore test.
Roll the forklift? I can roll the forklift.
Yeah, roll the forklift.
Actually,
I'm too scrawny to roll the forklift.
Yeah, I think you need it. I think you need some training for that.
That's kind of hot.
Hey, that's a 37. What is my folklore? Yeah, that passes. Yeah, that's like 37 out of 57.
Out of 57, so that's like, okay. So you have heard, not being from this region, you have heard of tales of a particular powerful fae that inhabits the Twilight Wood, or the Damarung, back from where you were from, it was referred to. It is an old powerful fae, and it has many names. The only one that you are aware of is the Old Stag. But you also know that this fae carries other names, and that it is an ancient spirit of the fae courts.
Rad.
Where do you set up for the evening?
Where did Agnieszka go off to?
I'm just going around the perimeter of where the caravans are set up, making sure that all of our cargo is safely attached. Our tied up for cheating at cards and stabbing a guy is still secure.
Yeah,
People aren't just like wandering off. Like that just happened. I'm trying to make sure that that wasn't some kind of fey bullshit trickery, and this was some sort of distraction to get the security off of the road and everything. So I'm just checking everything.
I'll flag you down when you're passing by a part that's like a little less populated, and I have no sense of like formality, so I'm definitely gonna like pop out like in between a wagon and scare the shit out of you. Hey.
Ah!
Do you know how to use these? And I'm gonna hold out the dead man's cards.
Wait, were these just normal playing cards?
You want to roll a let's go with the scrutinize on these.
Scrutinize. Cool. Where is this? 44. Okay. I rolled a 57 over 44.
Yeah, they look like normal cards.
Yeah, I use them for just playing games and stuff. Why are you asking me this?
Can you teach me how to play?
Yeah, not right now. I need just a second to finish making my, but yes, I will in a minute. How did you know that we needed to run in the direction that we ran in exactly? Because that's weird. Normally people that aren't, from around here don't know that kind of stuff.
I'll probably like just give you a long look for a second, but then since like we're both fair folk, or at least fair folk adjacent, I feel like I can tell you. You're also, you're cool, you're down. So like I feel like I can trust you. And I'll get in close and whisper, the white stag told me.
Oh. Does that mean anything to me beyond what I would just know from stories?
Based on your previous folklore test,
Probably
it's not
not.
clicking yet. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't think so, but I'm still very impressed by this. That is, that's remarkable.
Thank you, D, for a Bane.
Hell yeah, D.
Yes, I can teach you how to use these cards. Just give me a few moments and I will meet you over by one of the campfires.
Well,
Perfect. I'll go post over by a campfire, and if anybody like walks by or looks over, I'll like bullshit some hand sign like, Winter King be with you, and also with you.
B. What does B do?
So B, as she's running back, she's running back and following, and she's like a little bit surged on adrenaline. Quick question first. When you said that she came up out of the ground untouched, does that mean I move my damage condition back up? Because I moved down one space last time.
No, you're still hurt. It was just the actual passage to the ground. It felt very comfortable, and when you emerged, there was nobody on you.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, I'm running back, and I keep looking back over my shoulder as I'm running, and I'm trying to remember if there's anything about anything that I just saw that I would remember from a class or a book or anything like that.
Ooh. I would say you could roll an education roll, but this is going to be at a -20, so you got to knock 20 off. This is not something that's necessarily taught in school. Or are you talking about the spell or what just happened? Sorry.
Anything. The spell, the stag.
If you're looking at if you're looking for the spell idea that you did, that will be a higher thing because that would be related to something. If you're thinking about the stag, it'll be a lower roll because this is way outside the realm of anything that you've been taught so far. Okay. All right. I'm gonna think about the spell later, and I'm gonna focus on the stag for right now. Okay. So you said that'll be a -20. Yeah. On education. Yeah. Okay. They've got the flat roll because of like elven background, elven coven, that or elven covenant. That kind of flattened that out for them. Fair. Ooh. I rolled 14. Oh. So.
Nice.
You were extraordinarily thorough in your research ahead of time.
That checks out.
And you did determine that there were some very odd religious practices in this region, very out of step with the Imperial Pantheon, where very similar to lands south of the Empire, where they would actually begin to worship the Fae in place of other deities, as the Fae provided the most immediate protection. And you remember that there is a stag-like deity. And in thinking about it, you can remember that, again, you don't recall any names that associated with it, but you recall that it's associated with being some sort of god of the hunt. Okay. And as you return back, you move through, just concentrating on this, and you hear a voice call out, a familiar voice. The elven bard just say, "Hey."
I turn around and I'm kind of startled out of my concentration a little bit, and I look and I see who it is and I go, "Oh, you." And then I kind of turn back to whatever I was looking at previously.
And Bane time. As you turn around, you feel something cold and sharp just touch your back. And he goes, Now, Twellaby. I'm trying to be nice. We need to talk. Privately. And you look down and you see a blade being pressed against your side.
She just says, she just takes a breath. Okay.
You two walk around to the far side of one of the tents, and I'm going to throw a boon the way. One of the other party members, probably Agnieszka, because you are on high alert, does not need to roll to notice this happen. You're going to be slightly delayed in arriving, but you have noticed this and you can be on it. As you come around this tent, and the elf, having dropped all pretenses of flirtation or congeniality, just says, the professors at the Collegian Arcanium of Bindheim are quite upset with you. You have something of theirs, and I've been hired to retrieve it. So please, Twellaby, hand over the book. And she looks at the blade. We don't need to call any more goblins here tonight.
So I'm looking the elf directly in the eyes, and I say, "Oh no, I'm pretty sure I turned in all my assignments before I left."
This is my fault. You're confused. I don't think you're cute. And if you don't give me the book, I will open you up, and I will slip away in the goblin attack that follows.
Question. How close is the knife to me currently?
It's currently touching you. I would say if you wanted to, she has it like pressed against you right now, and she is being very forceful, but there is a little bit of a tremor in her voice. Like she's hurrying her words a little bit, like trying to let's get this over with, like let's go, sort of thing.
Okay.
You still have it, right? As there's like this.
So she's gonna continue looking at the elf. We're facing each other, right?
Yeah, you can have turned around.
So I say, I'm gonna stick with what I was going for, and I kind of look up and around, like I'm trying to remember something, and I go, no, I'm pretty sure I already turned in my textbooks.
Children are so frustrating. Look, this is not a game. I don't want to have to kill you. But I'm being paid a very large amount of money to bring this book back. You took it. What are you doing with it? Is it in this bag here? As she kind of reaches for your bag that's on your side. As she reaches, what do you do?
I'm gonna say, wait, and I stop, and I kind of I don't grab her arm, but I move to kind of block a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
not aggressively, but like a wait, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say, all right, I think I know what you're talking about, and I'm gonna put my hands up and then very slowly reach into the bag, and hopefully that motion lowers her guard just a little bit.
little bit. She's starting to relax a little bit.
So I open the bag and I kind of lift it up so like she can't see inside it, but I'm looking in it. I'm kind of rummaging around like, oh, I know it's in here somewhere. I really thought I had it. And I'm gonna grab one of the knives in the bag and like flourish it out and try to like get it to a point where I am the one holding the dangerous knife.
Let's see. I think for that particular role, let me really quickly double check something. I think for that, I would say let's roll me a straight agility roll using your agility score.
Okay.
Yeah.
I rolled a 16.
All right, you manage as you flick out the knife, and now it's at her throat as she's holding the one slightly away from you. And it is at this point, Agnieszka, did you gather any of the fellow party members, or did you head here on your own?
Oh no, I just snuck around the side of the tent as quietly as I could, or the side of the caravan as quietly as I could. Tell me, does our dear extortionate elf friend perhaps have that dulcimer still?
Indeed they do.
On their person? Cool. Cool.
You come around. Farron is holding their knife to Twellaby's midsection, slightly away now, as the arm is slightly back.
Uh-huh.
B is holding her blade to Farron's throat. And this is the sight you see as you come around, stalking around this corner. And Farron just kind of says, all right, I like you a bit more now, but what's your plan now? Kill me? Call some goblins here? Try to explain to Thurum what happened? Hope you don't get tied and thrown in the back of a cart?
How tall is the elf?
I would say, how tall is B?
5'1".
Definitely taller than you. A good like 2 heads taller than you. You're reaching up there.
Yeah. like the cat meme with the knives. Would I notice that Agnieszka is nearby?
I would say so. It probably came out in an area you could see, but not Farron.
Yeah, I'm imagining Farron's back is probably to me, and then you're facing them. Like in my head, that was how I visualized it. So correct me if I'm wrong, because otherwise I need to replan what I was gonna do.
No, that's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so knife at elf's throat. I am gonna just very quickly glance over and meet eyes with Agnieszka to hopefully signal to like come here, and I'm gonna say to the elf, well, we wouldn't want to call any more goblins, but you know, we didn't do too bad last time, so
Well then, looking at the two of them, roll me an intimidation test with. I'm gonna say now that you have help and the blade to throw, I'm gonna say that's worth plus 20. So add 20 to your intimidation.
Uh-oh.
92.
92.
Oh.
I may be immune to intimidation, but that does not mean I'm good at it.
Oh, dear. Oh, no.
Says,
oh, dear.
all right. She like drops her knife down and goes, they would go hands out and they just go, all right, so how about we call a little truce? I'll leave you alone on the road. On the other end of this road, we're going to have a conversation. promise it'll be a talk. No more knives. I'll leave you alone. Won't play any songs. There's like plenty of cute people on this string. I can entertain myself.
I'm squinting up at the elf, and I have not lowered the knife at all. And I say, well, I can't promise that it'll be a talk, and I'm gonna look over to Agnieszka one more time really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You make it real hard for me to go back to Middenheim if you do that, but kid, they want that book back. So maybe between now and when we get to the end of the Twilight Road, maybe you read it once or twice and just hand it back to me.
Maybe not. I'm gonna do one more, like, slightly more alarmed glance at Agnieszka, really hoping that they get the picture.
I'm just gonna direct my next bit here to Farron. This one is very young, very sweet, and very wise. I'm none of those things. So between now and when we reach the end of the Twilight Road, this is my offer to you. You leave her alone, or those pretty long fingers of yours will be so busted you will be looking for another instrument to play.
Look down and look back at you and just go, you really think my hands are pretty? And all right, I'll leave her alone. Like I said, I'm on a job. It's nothing personal. Till the end of the Twilight Road, I won't do anything.
And I lower the knife just a little bit, but I'm still, like, very on edge, ready for anything. And then I back away a little bit, just a couple steps, and move around her to go stand toward Agnieszka.
Hands up, just starts walking away, looks back at Agnieszka and goes like, can I interest you in a song?
Get out.
Turns around and walks away.
Was this some sort of old business between the two of you that they were threatening you about? Or is this something new?
I have never seen this elf before this road in my life.
This is just my luck that this is the job that I pick up in my spare time. If there's anything between the two of you that I need to know about in order to do my job, I would like to know. I would not like to see you hurt. That one is full of tricks and double dealing, and I don't know what you're doing up here, but you seem like a nice person. Don't get involved. You're already involved, aren't you?
I'm not the one that got involved.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then I look around just a little bit, and I'm assuming there's nobody else there at this point. Like, I don't see anyone else. Okay, so I look around. I took something. It's not a big deal. People take things all the time, but I took something. That's what they want. But, you know, it's really none of their business.
You got caught. I think that makes it their business now. Whatever it is, I'm not here to judge you for taking it.
Caught
You seem like a nice kid, but I'm just saying that we'll just try and keep. It seems like it's too late to ask you to keep a little bit more of a low profile. So just don't do anything too outrageous in front of, and don't wander off by yourself.
Okay, and then I turn and I wander
Yep.
off by myself, just to somewhere else in the camp area. And when I get to where I am settling down for the night, kind of like turned away from other people, off to the side a little bit, not like at the edge of the room, but just like away from the other people. I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna do a couple extra looks over my shoulder, and I'm gonna pull out the book and I'm gonna open it and I'm gonna see if there's anything inside the book about the spells that I did that I didn't know what I did.
So as you
I want to read the book.
As you read
the
through,
book. Read the book.
You begin to see that the spells that you're leaning into, it seems, harness the jade wind or the green wind or the wind of elementalism. Looking through it, it seems that this wind is a powerful conduit of nature, particularly the seasonal aspect of nature and the growth aspect of nature. And it thrives with life and vitality. And as best as you can determine, the way you escaped the tree's grasp was a spell contained within this as a way to channel the winds to move through the very earth itself. There are a few names for it in several different languages. The most close translation that you can work through is Pillars, is the spell that you enacted to escape the grasp of that tree.
What was that called again? You cut out for just a
Pillars, Pillars of the Earth. So that is a spell that you have accessed, but you're not entirely sure how you did it, but you have performed it before. So with more study, we will be able to add that to your spell list. As looking through, also you find that one of the practice things that they recommend for starting to harness this wind is channeling this wind into yourself and then spreading it out in the form of new blooming life. And the descriptions of it sounds remarkably close to what you accidentally did when you were attempting to use candlelight. And again, various names in various languages, but the one in the imperial language is simply Spring's Bounty. These are very tricky spells, and they have successful channeling can result in wonderful things like Spring's Bounty, creating life. However, should you mischannel them and make a mistake, they can have quite awful effects. So as you look at this, a slight sense of like the consequences of misusing these spells is apparent.
Okay.
And I will send you over some of the details on those spells as we progress, because those will be added to your spell list soon, once you have the capability of casting reliably upper level magic.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna set the book down in front of me on the page that I was just reading at, and I'm gonna pluck a piece of grass or like a flower or something off the ground near me and do one more quick little double take to make sure nobody's like actively looking at me. And I'm gonna try to do the thing. I'm gonna try to do something just very small. I am just aiming to make the plant in my hand grow a little bit more. So I take a breath in and try to feel the magic. And as I blow air onto the leaf, I'm going to try to make it grow.
So as you reach out for the Jade Wind, roll me an incantation test. Just a regular one.
Mm-hmm.
As you try to touch the Jade Wind.
I rolled an 11.
Oh, wow. The dice are lining up. You feel the Jade Wind swell. It appears that it is, the winds of magic are thus named because, or the etheric winds are thus named because they move in currents, and sometimes they are swirling and sometimes they are very absent. The Jade Wind is very present here at this moment. You take this leaf with an 11, which is a critical success. And it's a blade of grass, right?
Something that would have been something I could have plucked off the road right there.
You are willing it to grow. And as you channel the energy, it grows. It grows more than expected. In fact, it grows into a full piece of a olive branch with actual olives on it that you can consume. You have created something that not only is alive, but is also giving a harvest.
Ooh. I'm assuming I have some kind of like empty container or bag or whatever, like in my bag. So I want to pluck off a few of the olives, not all of them, but I want to pluck off like 3 to 5 olives and put them in that little container and tuck them away. And then I'm going to plant the branch in the ground somewhere like close to the edge. So it's not going to be like, in the way of a cart or something, but like off to the side. And then that's going to be the last thing that I do for the evening.
All right. So, as the night passes, this is not a restful night. None of you move up your peril tracks, except Agnieszka, because Agnieszka gives precisely 0 fucks.
Agnieszka thrives under stress and danger, and like if everything's fine, does not know how to deal. But when everything's dangerous, is good.
I'm sorry, did you describe Agnieszka or Anna?
That's not important right now.
I will say that when you all awaken for the next morning, as the cries go out and the caravan begins organizing, when you wake up, the plant that you have, the branch that you put in the ground has sprouted into a small olive tree and is growing remarkably quickly. As you set out for your 3rd day of travel, is there anything that you would like to do as you make your way down the Twilight Road with the trees continuing to lean overhead, and at best it is late evening light even in the morning?
I'd actually like to talk to Canario at some point.
Yeah.
So you find Canario quite easily on the road. What would you like to say?
So, you know how we were hired to just be security for this?
Security, yeah.
Yeah, seems that in addition to tying up people for cheating at cards, we can add protecting our traveling companions from potentially murdering each other over contraband. Just keep an eye out for that other bard. And she just says that in like a
very like
like technically I have to call them that, but because
what happened with this bard?
They're really just trying to throw around their weight and intimidate our friend Twillaby here, whom I would very much like to conduct safely to the end of this journey.
Our Twillaby?
Mm-hmm. The very same.
The academic. What could she have possibly done wrong?
I don't know that that's my place to say, but you know what they say about, forbidden knowledge being very enticing and all that sort of thing. There's more to this one than meets the eye.
That pains me to hear.
Does it? Why?
Like you said, forbidden knowledge. Anyway, you never joined us for those drinks last night.
I did not. As I said, I was otherwise engaged in making sure that our musically inclined companion stayed in their lane, as it were.
Well, I think that means that perhaps you owe me one. How about a little hair of the dog?
Yes, I suppose that's true. I would be happy to. Were we drinking to get drunk, or are we just drinking to hair of the dog? I'm asking because I have mechanical things. If we're drinking to get drunk, I have to decide what kind of drunk I am today.
Yes, he's trying to kick off the hangover from the previous night.
Okay, cool.
So I imagine he and Zaya definitely just took turns taking shots. So
cool.
He will have a shot of his flask and he'll pass it off to you.
Sweet. We'll have a bit more than that. I'm gonna become I'll stay a mean drunk. I'll stay a mean drunk this time.
Agnieszka, you really should let go of this tension in your shoulders. It's bad for the humors. Your bile, it's just. Do you ever feel just a burning in your chest?
Stomach is more like it, but yeah.
I worry about that.
Keeps me on my toes. Hooves.
But being in this constant state of anger is just it's not good for your balance. And I don't mean on your hooves, your inner balance. Perhaps have you ever tried breathing exercises?
What are you talking about?
Never mind. I don't want you to burn out with all this anger that you hold in you. But you know what? Who am I? Cheers, friend.
You're a very skilled barber surgeon, and I will drink to that.
And a mighty skald you are. Play your drum, please.
I will.
As you play the drum and the caravan marches on into late afternoon, suddenly the trees begin to thin. Sunlight streaks through in shafts at first as light seems to poke through the canopy. And as we push towards sunset, the caravan emerges into a vast meadow. It seems to stretch on for several miles. The grass is almost like a sea, as you see off in the distance an island in that sea, the town of Talde. The road remains very wide and well trodden. As you move through this meadow, you now realize that you're reaching about the halfway point of this road, the town that sits in the middle of the Twilight Wood. And it's been there a very, very long time. It is the sole surviving town of the Dark Night, where every other settlement in the Twilight Wood suddenly disappeared. As you push on, the shadows grow long across the grass as you reach the western end of the town. Those of you who have been to Talde before know that this part of the town is the newer part of town. It's known as the Dusk Sprawl. It is popped up as Talde became a trade waypoint on this road. But even those veterans of the Twilight Road, as you begin to move through, notice that the houses, as you begin to move, have things hanging from them, as if decorations. The first thing you notice is a mask, a wooden mask with bramble hair and sticks creating antlers hanging on the houses. And as the caravan begins to ride, people begin to emerge and stand on the side of the road as you all move by. And we're going to break into a few individual things, starting first with our security, Canario and Agnieszka, and are led to Xenia's cart by Thurum, the head of the caravan. As he looks at the three of you and looks over to make sure that Ludo, the murderer from last episode, is still tied up in the back. And he says, right, Agnieszka, Xenia, I trust you. And he turns looking at Canario and is like, Canario, will the three of you do me a favor and take this piece of shit over to Eve, who you all know to be the head road warden of Talde?
Oh, you trust me.
Yeah, one piece of shit delivered to Eve. Count on us.
So, as you begin to drag, how do you transport this Ludo, who is tied up?
Ludo is human?
Ludo's human.
Big, small?
About average sized. Little thin, little lanky.
With a brawn of 41, would Canario be able to lift him?
Yeah, I think you'd be able to get him up a little bit as you like grabbed his ropes and.
Yeah, so if you would, I'd imagine his arms are tied behind his back.
Mm-hmm.
Canario would just grab him by like that and just carry him over.
As he looks over, the sympathetic face put on for Xenia during most of the road disappears as he just turns around and goes, "You piece of shit, that hurts."
No. You stabbed someone. You killed someone.
Canario, can we play?
I'm sorry?
I've got a better idea. Well, since you carrying him, I have a draft horse donkey sort of thing. Pretty good at pulling things. I'm going to take him out the cart anyway so then he can get a little stretch of his legs. So, he's tied up. My little guy likes pulling things. It's an awful rocky road.
Does Canario know if you're joking or not?
Oh, I'm being serious.
Agnieszka's totally here for it too, by the way. This is the whole like winter court, like, yeah. Who cares if garbage gets a few bumps and bruises on its way to the dump?
I'll have none of that. No, two wrongs don't make a right. And besides, Ludo in two parts would be quite a mess. And we don't want to inconvenience this wonderful town. No. Ludo, I'm sorry. Not on my watch.
You hear that, garbage? Luck's on your side today, I guess.
Spits at you and just goes, "Fuck you."
I will still shit you in the face. And make you survive, don't worry.
Just wisely chooses to be quiet in that moment.
Besides the, as a barber surgeon here, sometimes we're tasked with certain surgical procedures, hobblings and dislocations of joints and whatnot. It's a great thing you can learn. Maybe Ludo would learn maybe not to stab people, murder them.
Can you teach me?
As you say this, a voice calls out, one that you recognize if you've been on this road before. You hear a female dwarf and you turn and you see Eve, Avandra Smelmere, who is in the livery of the village of Talde, as it is its own little independent town. And she strides towards you wearing the badge of the road wardens sewn into her livery, and she goes, now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Lord Brune likes his criminals to be able to run. What do you have for me here?
What a beauty. This is Ludo. Don't. He stabbed a guy gambling. You know how it is. Never mind him. Eve, how are you? How have you been?
It's good to see you all.
You as well.
And she looks down and just goes, so he stabbed someone? Is that person alive?
Nah, dead, but it was really kind of a small-time hack
It's
job.
Murder, then.
Mm-hmm.
Very good, very good. The Lord will be quite pleased. He's been rather bored.
Well,
I don't think any of you. I'm going to make a GM ruling here that none of you have ever seen what the Lord does with a murderer. You've only heard cryptic hints. We'll go with. Yeah.
Can we watch?
Actually, could I see if maybe we could learn a little bit more about said cryptic hints by using one of my talents?
Ooh, what talent is that?
Because I mostly just want to use that to fuck with this guy, but I have a worldly talent that's when gossiping or spinning a tale, you gain +20 to rumor tests. So I'll just be like, well,
roll me that rumor test.
Yeah, basically just like, well, I heard that this is the kind of thing that this guy does. So. Oh my God, it's a 92. I am running out of dice to use.
You know what? You don't know what the Lord does, but you are free to make up whatever you want.
You know, it really is a shame that all you did was punch a man with a knife. That's not terribly exciting or premeditated, but he'll probably make good bait for whatever his bigger prize is. Really could have aimed higher, but it is what it is.
All right, you got me. All right, so now, as Eve says, right, let's it's getting a little late. I think Brune might like to know that he has, and he she looks down at Ludo and she goes, a guest. Follow me. And you are all led, the three of you are led through Talde. Now, Talde is changes dramatically as you move through it. The Dusk and Sprawl is very like ramshackled, thrown together quickly inhabitations of merchants and very temporary housing who are only here for a certain amount of time and recent who came here. As you move into the center of town, there's a large opening. And off to your right is the hill. The hill of town is where they most of the shrines to the Imperial Pantheon are, and also housing for those who keep the shrines and some of the older residents of Talde. In the center of the square is a huge, massive tree, and as you walk in, packages and items have been tied to branches of the tree and are hanging down. None particularly large, but the tree is adorned with all manner of things. There's a lot of activity, and the other end of it is a large stone manor house, the only stone building in Talde, the home of its local lord and elector, Lord Brune, who opts to stay in Talde rather than be in court in the imperial capital most times. As you move through, you go through the large double doors and you are led into the Lord's Hall, a long room with a huge table, a large throne-like seat, and sitting above it is the heraldry of Lord Brune, which is a greenish flag with a aspect of a boar on it. And next to it is a more stylized artisan version of those masks you've seen hung with very fine wood, with a triangular finish, actual antlers on it, and again, the bramble hair. The rest of the hall is adorned with hunting trophies, be it antlers, heads of creatures, all pelts are hung on the walls, and a guard stands there as they see Eve come in, and they just kind of nod and say, right, what do you all be needing? Is this something the Lord needs to do? So yes, please fetch Lord Bruin. He's like, yeah, it'd just be a moment, as one of them goes to fetch the Lord. And entering the room is a tall man with black hair cut very short, a well-trimmed beard, very like fine features in walking around in what is like very elegant hunting attire at this time, as he turns and goes, Eve, what have you brought me? And who are these folks with you? Please present yourselves. I am Lord Bruin, Lord of the town.
An honor, Lord Bruin. My name is Canario.
It's a pleasure, Canario. And he turns to Xena.
I'm Zia. It's wonderful to meet you.
Zia. And then he turns, and one of the Fey folk, always welcome in town.
Agnieszka, Scald of the Winter's Army.
What do you bring me?
A gift.
A
if
gift?
It please your lordship.
A toy.
A plaything, really.
Eve goes, a murderer. On one of the caravans, stabbed a man over cards. And Bruin's face slowly stretches into a smile that is a little disconcerting. And he says, oh, excellent. And he says, please, cut his ropes. He turns to men. Give him a room. Make sure he is fed. And he turns to Ludo. He's like, rest well, my friend. You will be released in the morning. Ludo just looks around. Thank you, my lord. Thank you. As they cut his ropes, and they say, and make sure he has ample food, water, mead, whatever he asks for. And he turns to look at the rest of you and goes, thank you for this gift. You are dismissed.
At the risk of potentially fucking up yet another roll.
Yes.
Oh boy.
I would like to see if there's anything that I can determine about these masks with the bramble hair and the antlers.
Of course, roll me a folklore test.
Yeah, that'd be just
boon?
great. Yes, I do have a boon.
I will say, if you prefer, you could use your boon to
you know what? Let's just do that. That would be great. Let's use the boon to make me know things.
The crest is a religious symbol. You distinctly recognize it as Fae, and it finally clicks for you. You were tired before, and also just having escaped, killer trees and a red cap.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the old Fae symbols, sometimes called the Old Stag, sometimes called Kurnoth, Lord of Hunts, other times called the Earl King.
Okay, that's what I was.
Yep. Creature of the hunt, a creature of winter, but belongs to none of the winter courts. And his symbol is all over this town.
Makes mental note to remind Twellaby, no, really, don't go following the weird lights and the strange noises that you're going to see and hear while we're here. No, really don't.
Well, as you think that,
Okay.
we're going to cut slightly back in time, back to the road, as Maeve and Bee are coming into town. And as Thorum asks the rest of the party to pull Ludo into town, there is a figure standing on the side of the road greeting people into town. He is tall, has a very tall, over 6 feet, clean shaven head, deep, rich brown skin, in robes of the God Emperor. As you are walking in, he is simply speaking to each and going, "Welcome to Talde. Welcome to Talde." And as Mabe walks by, goes, "Ah, a fellow member of the cloth." And he looks at you and says, "May the Winter King protect you."
Winter King protect you.
It's very nice to meet you. I am. The name is. Oops, hold on. Kelber. Kelber Nosk. It's a pleasure to meet you. Who do I have the pleasure of addressing?
I'm Maeve Baylor.
Maeve, it is a genuine pleasure to speak to you. As he looks around, what brings you to Talde?
Oh, sorry, I was mind blanked. I'm gonna hold out my hand to shake his, and like the cool wrist grasp. Maeve is just glad to like meet somebody a little bit taller than her because she's used to just like leering over people, like other mother style.
Yeah, I would say Kelber glances down and sees B there and goes, "Greetings to you as well."
The small bean.
Look up. Hi.
What brings you to Talde?
I'm passing through, going to meet a congregation or temple, whatever word they use, a temple up north, just to check in how the other half lives.
Well, you're in the right part of the empire for the Winter King. He laughs. He goes, I traveled up here looking to bring the word of the God Emperor, and everyone has been very polite and very firm in their... They observe the high days of the God Emperor, but largely dismiss me. I found this village to be a bit odd, to be frankly honest.
Odd in which ways?
Well, the cult of Tal is very strong here. Tal being the god of the of nature, the one of the very old gods of the empire, predates the God Emperor, is as old as the Winter King, who are the two. Those are some of the very old gods of these parts of the lands, and it is inherently associated with forests, nature, and the way of all things natural. As he sits there and says, yes, there's well, Tal is ascendant here, which is not to be surprised as he looks around, considering the surroundings. There is a particular cult here that is adherent to the old ways that I would border on heresy, in my personal opinion, but we have not had an inquisitor up this way in quite some time. I advise you tread lightly in this village. And he leans in and says, the Lord is violent and unstable.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you for the warning. I usually hang more with the common folk. I've not much dealings with the Lord or bureaucrats in Tove.
That is very wise. This town is... It is a nice enough place to live, but the priesthood here, the Lord and the wizard in particular, I fear to be heretical. If not for the call to the east for inquisitors, I fear this town would be overrun with them in normal times.
I understand your frustration. While the Emperor protects from far away, sometimes other powers can seem more present and tangible. I would focus on emphasizing and exalting the Emperor's kinship with the Winter King and Tove.
Yes, that is fine advice, and I appreciate that. Tell me, if there's anything you can do, if there's anything I can do for you while you stay here, let me know. I'll be happy to help.
Of course. Thank you, brother.
May the God Emperor watch over you.
The Winter King watch over you.
As you move into town, it is very clear that there's a lot of activity happening at this time, as the that open square with the tree with the ornaments hanging from it. There are market stalls, there are people moving around, there are craftspeople at work. There are children running through, chanting together as they go off in some sort of game. What would Bee and May like to do in this situation with the caravan starting to congregate? People are gathering around to see what is being sold. It's essentially a little bit of downtime before your rooms and board are going to be assigned to you and all of that, as this is an all expenses paid caravan. You paid for these rooms ahead of time for this place.
Go for it, Bumblebee.
Oh, me first? Okay. I am gonna take a look around the square. I'm very interested in this tree. But first, what would I know, if anything, about this god of nature that you mentioned?
Oh, Tall. You can go ahead and roll me a check. But actually, you know what? This is probably. I'm going to revise that. This does not require a roll. Let me really quickly pull up my. Tall, the god of nature, also known as the Demiurge. Where is my thing? There it is. Is an extraordinarily old god who predates the god emperor, which several of the gods do. God of nature, animals, earth, and fertility. It is the depictions of the demiurge are often as either animals or human. It can be either, sometimes with a child in their arms. Priests who follow this deity particularly tend to tap into the raw majesty of nature and tend to trend towards more natural appearances. And you also know that this god is sometimes associated with the magisters of particularly the amber wind, but also sometimes the jade wind. So those who practice magic will sometimes often lean towards this god, as they see both this god an embodiment of their magic and the nature around them.
Okay. And would I know anything about the tree beforehand, or would this be like completely foreign to me?
This tree is simply a landmark of town. As you walk in, you observe it, and the ornaments hanging from it appear to be small bags that seem to be hung as offerings, and some of the other things appear to be small animal bones hung from the tree, as this tree appears to be a collection of small satchels hung from it and just hundreds of bones hanging from it.
Okay. Would I know why these things are hanging from it?
You can roll. Oh, well, so I will say, for that, I would say roll me a rumor test, as you would need to talk around town.
Yeah, so I was just gonna, because if I don't know anything, I wanna, so you said there's like booths and stalls and merchants and stuff here, right?
Yeah.
I would like to find one of these booths that appears to have somebody doing some kind of like woodworking, or like if I see somebody like carving symbols of any kind that looks more folklory, I'm gonna go up to that person and I'm gonna look at the wares and ask if they can tell me any more about the tree.
So as you walk around, you see, again, you see these masks hanging from about every door. You even see some of the children wearing them as they run about. And as you walk around, you see an old woman sitting at one of these booths, carving one of these masks. And as you walk up, without looking up, she just says, "Can I help you? You're not from around here."
And I'm gonna say, no, I'm not. I was hoping you could tell me about the offerings on the tree.
Those are in celebration, an offer of a good harvest. It's harvest season, you see. She's continuing to carve.
And the masks?
The masks are part of the festival, an old tradition that goes back generations in this town. Would you like one?
Why do the children wear the masks?
They are children at play. As she carves out the eye hole for one of the masks. Have you never seen children at play before?
I have. I'm just curious about the masks. I would like to understand.
They are simply part of the festival. On the night of the harvest festival, we wear the masks, we revel, we drink, we enjoy, we partake of the bounty of the harvest. Are you passing through?
Yes, just passing through.
Please take one of the masks as my gift. A harvest gift to the traveler.
Thank you. And if she's handing me one, I will accept
As she looks
it. I'm not going to put it on though.
She looks up and you see her look at you and she just says, "The jade wind gathers around you."
I'm gonna say thank you so much for your kindness, and I'm gonna move away.
She reaches out and pulls you in, and she just whispers in your ear, "You have seen the white stag."
And I'm a little bit caught off guard, and I'm gonna lean into her too. You know about the white stag? What do you know?
Ready for a boon? She goes,
Sure.
The Twilight Court seeks the white stag. The newcomer seeks the white stag. You have seen the one that all in the forest seek. Be very, very careful.
Okay. I'm gonna back away just lean away a little bit and say, thank you again for your kindness and for your insight.
Laughs just slightly. Just you're going to need the mask.
So I'll accept the mask and I'll tuck it into my bag, and I'm gonna move toward the tree.
As you move towards the tree, you can see that the caravan is setting up like a barrel, and Thurum is stepping up onto it as he is beginning to call all of the caravan around. And he, at this point, Canario, Aneshka, and Zia, you have returned from the Lord's Hall, and Thurum is just kind of, right, all mine, over here. Right, we're a little thrown off schedule-wise. We're going to spend 2 nights here. Everyone get your bearings tonight. We're going to restock tomorrow, and we'll head out in the morning after. So will be covering your expenses for the extra night. The inn is just across the way past the manor house. You all settle in for the night, and we'll talk tomorrow. And with that, we're going to go to our break for this evening, as we will come back in about 5 minutes to pick up on the next day, as the party is going to get a little bit of downtime in the town of Talde, which is totally fine and not creepy at all.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm pressing the X button so hard to doubt right now.
No!
Like,
Fuck no.
the button is obliterated.
So we will see you all after this break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Twilight Road. We are about to get started with our second half of our game as the party is settled in for the night in the Twilight Road Inn, a rather large 3-story inn in this town. Large common room, many rooms, as it has clearly been built and meant to accommodate caravans, as this is one of the things the town has shifted its economy towards. Now, as you settle in, I gave the party the ability. They have spent a restful night, which means they get to move their peril trackers back to unimperiled, and all of them get to move 1 level up on their damage tracker if they have damage, as healing is a bit slower in Zweihander than it is in some other systems. Naps don't fix stab wounds. Now, as you all awaken, the town is a flurry of activity as you all begin to move out into, well, I would say actually, as you begin to wake up, let's talk about the condition in which each of you wake up. What sort of night did you have, and what sort of, how do you feel when you awaken? Starting with, let's go in actual order this time, starting with Canario.
Canario had a very restful night. He kept more to himself, not so much drinking this night as the previous nights. So he's well rested and he's in good spirits, I would say.
Excellent. And as Canario makes his way down to the common room, how is Maeve feeling?
Maeve is feeling good but tired. I think it's rare for Faye to be among, either other fair folk or people who share the same customs. So Faye probably was out late. And as far as like during Fair stave in tow, she's definitely keeping her Fair holy stuff like not like noticeably hidden, but it's not out in full display per usual. And Faye's got her hood down, so you can see the elf ears.
Excellent. What does Bee do with her night? And how does she feel waking up in the morning?
Are we each like in our own separate rooms?
Yes, we'll say that you had booked separate rooms unless you want to have been bunked up with somebody.
Okay. So B would have stayed up kind of late, but not too late, reading more out of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And just wanting to learn all the things, particularly if they relate to the jade wind that she's been sensing, but also just generally like trying to take in as much information as possible from the book.
Yeah, at this point you're like poring over some of the incantations. They are incredibly complicated, some of them, as they are seeing them. Some of them are, you understand, are beyond you at this time, but conceptually you're beginning to grasp them, and you can see a future in which you can cast these spells. Continuing around, how about Zia? What is Zia? What did Zia do for the evening?
Zia probably either like wandered around town or just got drunk.
Oh, there
or
was
both.
Ample opportunity to get drunk last night.
Both then.
All right. So a little rough in the morning?
You can't be rough if you don't stop drinking.
Fair. So Zia is just continuing through. You can't be hungover if you're still drunk.
Yeah.
All right. How about Agnieszka?
Which is why Agnieszka was hanging out with them as well in the evening to just be like, oh, what is this nonsense sleeping in an inn with doors and windows? No. And then eventually when it is time to go to sleep, she'll like wake up every few hours, just basically like used to doing this from, sleeping in a camp in the field and stuff like that. walk around the hallways, check and make sure that, there aren't any like weird noises or obvious signs of struggles, break-ins, jimmied windows, locks, etc. Circle around, and then just go back to sleep.
I will say that the first up are those who got, at the very least, a semi-restful night's sleep without the heavy drinking. So B, Canario, and Maeve are up early. And I'll say the first thing that you notice as you, well, actually, let's say if the three of you want to do anything together, as those who have awakened are gathering down in the common room for the morning, how do you greet each other?
Good morning, dear friends. See, we're all awake bright and early. I like that. How are our wounds going? Are we feeling fine?
And Twelby is just going to be like sitting on a couch in the common area space, reading a different book, not the book, just another book that she brought with her, and just throws a thumbs up over her shoulder as she continues reading.
Okay. A bookworm. Coffee for anyone?
I'm going to offer another thumbs up.
It'd go over well just about now. Oh, actually,
I'm gonna say roll me a. Let's go with this is one of my own modifications. I like having a little luck roll involved. Roll if they have that exotic southern luxury that is coffee.
Oh yeah, sure.
Roll me below a 50.
7.
You are so lucky. This is a trade stop, and coffee moves north on this road. In fact, part of what your caravan was carrying was some coffee to sell along the way. So this is some about as fresh as coffee gets in this part of the world.
Yeah, just pinched some off the bag there.
In addition are some delicious apple breakfast pastries, as there are orchards just north of town, as that appears to be the primary product of Talde, is they are an orchard town.
Ooh.
Definitely making a mental note to go check that out in a little bit. No particular reason, just
Yeah, I was
sightseeing.
If you all had peril after drinking coffee, I would of course allow you to negate it, because coffee is the miracle potion of everything. So, yeah, you were able to secure some coffee, and it is Kanara, you've traveled around the world. You've been further south. You've had better coffee, but you know what? It's still pretty fucking awesome.
It does the job.
Yeah.
While kind of nursing the coffee in his giant baseball mitt hands, he kind of eyes at Twellaby. He's like, Miss Twellaby, do you think we could have a word in private?
I'm gonna hold up one finger, and I'm gonna continue looking down at the book for just a moment, kind of trailing my finger along a paragraph. And then I'm gonna big sigh, dog ear the page, close it, and be like, yes?
Somewhere more private, if you don't mind.
Okay. And then I'll get up. I'll put the book away in my bag and follow to whatever
Just
other
a separate room.
Would Trilby be sitting next to Maeve?
Sure, yeah.
As you're getting up to leave, I'll just be like, the barber must ask you a question, and I guess he can't shave it for later.
That is gonna get a smile. That is gonna get a smile from me.
Get out.
No verbal acknowledgement, but you get a smile.
I am too hungover to laugh at that. Do you want to actually practice learning how to play with these? And I'll just flip out the cards while Canario would go off to have their conversation and see if we actually want to, learn how to play cards.
I would.
Zia would silently just hand Agnieszka another shot. Like, nope, fuck this.
And I'll just like toss you one of the little pillows. I'm guessing that we're on like couches or something. I'd just be like, hey, here you go.
I'm pretty proud of myself. I think this is probably the first time we've seen Maeve like give a really big smile, and then her fucking cracked lips break open and start simply a little.
Oh no.
Fave that person.
Moisturize break. We're good. So, in private, Canario kind of ushers Trolloby into the room and kind of closes the door behind him. And very like earnest look on his face. He starts off with an apology. Miss Trolloby, I'm sorry to pry, but I've caught wind of well, have you been having some issues as of late? Perhaps.
Can you explain what you mean by issues?
Perhaps trouble with a dulcimer wielding bard.
Oh, that one. There was a minor altercation.
Minor?
Nobody got hurt. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
And I take a very slight step back. Young?
Yes, and young indeed. I ask because you seem to be around my daughter, Maya Lynn's age, and well, she'd be an academic like yourself, I'm sure, were she given the option in life. But I'm concerned, honestly. You're a very bookish person, would you say?
Yes.
I don't know how else to put this, but please, for your own help, try to be careful if you can. I know knowledge it quenches the thirst of just wanting to know more. It's always there, but it can corrupt you. And you're far too young to live a life of corruption. I've seen some people do some very dark things for knowledge, and I'm sure if Agnieszka wasn't there, things could have been very different. You might not be here with us right now.
I'm gonna place a hand on my bag protectively and say, "There's nothing wrong with reading."
No. Noted. Nothing wrong with reading. But sometimes the text that you're reading is very wrong. Very wrong. And while the act of reading isn't bad, the subject matter can just twist your heart, your soul, your mind. And it can lead you to some very dark places.
A well-developed mind requires the objective reading of all subject matters.
And the mind takes some time to develop with age. You'll learn that.
I don't appreciate being talked down to.
I pardon the jest, but given my height, I have to talk down to most people, even those my daughter's age. You're a good kid. I don't want you to get hurt by any of this.
I'm gonna say, well, you're pardoned. And then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to walk out the door and like slam it behind me like a defiant teenager.
Well, it's children. And then he softly opens the door with just 2 fingers and leads himself out. As he joins everyone else, he just gives Twillaby a very soft, kind smile, in a show of no like harm, no foul. He just is genuinely concerned for her.
As the morning progresses, you all eventually find yourself in the post-dawn light of the marketplace, the center of town, as people are beginning to move about. One of the first things that you notice is particularly those who led Ludo to the manor house. You see him being led with several of the members of the Lord's personal guard through the square towards the northern end of town. Would any of you like to follow?
Yes. Yes. I absolutely would like to follow.
Agnieszka and Z, you follow up through Old Talde, the older part of the village, as you move up past the manor house, past the inn, into older residences and abandoned buildings that look as if they were potentially once lumber mills and storage, long in disuse. And in the northern part of town, the road quickly turns to orchards, expansive orchards. They suddenly take a turn eastward to the edge of the forest, and you see one of them give him a shove and point, and he turns back looking confused, and you see one of them say something to him and point again, and he begins to move into the forest at a very good pace. And you see the guards chuckling, turn around to each other and begin to walk back into town. And they walk past you. And they return the mock salute, carrying halberds. Some of them just have swords on their hip. Variety of armor, some of them wearing patchwork leather. One of them has a breastplate that looks really old and semi-well cared for. As they just kind of like, morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
You responsible for my Lord Brun's daily entertainment?
Yeah.
To
He'll be by in about an hour or so. He and his whole crew.
What will they?
Yeah, he looked like a live one. They might have some fun with him.
He's surprisingly lethal.
No, we took that knife off him. He got nothing. Lord knows what he's doing. He's gonna be out there all day having fun with that one.
Justice. The best kind of justice. Fey justice.
Do these guards, they seem like this is just normal to them? And are they like human, or are they, what is their...
So 2 of them appear to be human. One of them is an ogre, quite hulking. Which is a normal sight in the Empire. Ogres make up an average portion of it. They are not seen as any different in this particular part of the world. Yes.
What is this ogre's name? And are there layers to him?
That's 2.
I think
That's
I
it.
just
That's
went-
two.
Sorry, Velvet. We're gonna have to just please cut Velvet's stream. Please, can we cut the feed?
I think I just went straight to incapacitated on that one. You're
Yes.
gonna have to go on
Please,
without
everyone,
me.
take immediately lethal damage.
Wait, I still have 1 fate point.
Yeah. And the last one appears to be potentially part human and maybe a little bit of dwarven blood mixed in there at some point, but it's a little hard to see.
Okay. So nobody with like very obvious like Fey ancestry over here. All right.
If they turn the no, Lord Brune's gonna have fun with that one.
And how frequently does Lord Brune acquire his new playthings, would you say? Because it has been some time since I was last here. I'm curious.
He leans and goes, there's the ones that do the crimes, and then there's the ones when he gets bored.
I see.
But when we get one who generally done something wrong, it's usually pretty fun.
He's just lucky he only caused 1 death. Could have caused some more.
Right. Like this one actually like deserves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's surprising no one died in the goblin attack that followed. Or did someone die?
I don't think anyone did. I think the caravan managed to fight off the goblin attack.
Well, some of the goblins died, but nobody important died.
There were some injuries. There were some injuries, but no one was outright killed. And thanks to some very able medical assistants, no one died in the aftermath.
Agnieszka, I've got a really bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you ever tried alcohol with some goblin blood on top for spice?
I don't know. Have I?
I don't like this.
But have we settled on the
like that's just random enough, and she's been in just enough battles that she might have done this at some point.
I don't think goblin blood has ever crossed your palate before.
Fair.
I consider
Usually it's already
kind
kinda
of
sometimes goblins run in the armies of the Fae.
Yeah.
They sometimes run with orcs, who sometimes move in large hordes when they spring up.
The fungus among us.
Yeah, when they're a fungal creature that crossed over from the ethereal realm and also thrive on violent death. So there's a little bit of a synergy there, but I don't know if you've ever like actually drank goblin blood.
You know, I can't say that I've ever really stuck around long enough to try and drain one of them because there's always been better things on offer. But we could try it.
Fuck yeah. Zia pulls out the vial of goblin blood that she took and she's like, let's go.
Okay, cool. Before we do that, and when we get back to the village, there are a couple things I want to do before we decide to start day drinking goblin blood, because something tells me if I then try to go do those things after I ingest an unknown murder liquid, it might not go well.
I'm still, we'll see where that goes.
I'm here for it, though.
As the two of them are witnessing the initial Ludo being sent out into the woods, what are the other 3 members of the party doing?
Go talk to the old mask lady.
Ooh, you're going to talk to the old mask lady. As you move out into the area, Canario.
He'll be tending just anybody wounded. He'll probably just make his rounds around the town and see if anyone needs any
I was gonna say
any checkup.
You, as you move through with Maeve and B, the gnome that you helped save with a very fresh scar on his forehead, just approaches and says, "I owe you, friend. You did an amazing job on this.
No.
No. You did an incredible job on this.
Please. I insist. It's fine.
And
It's what I'm here
ask
for.
Julio, the player, what kind of armor do you have?
None, actually.
None? Well, as this gnome says, we got like a guard wagon, and they keep some extra equipment in there, and I talked to Werner, and he's agreed that you've done just an amazing job, and you patched everyone up so well. So I'm gonna get you. You look like I don't know how to say this right, because you look like a normal human, if you know what I'm saying. Like you look like you fit one of the leather sets we have. It's like a chest piece, maybe a few shoulders, one that covers your delicate bits and like your quads, like all the important shit.
Hey, if you insist, I'll take it. But really, I don't want to. I don't want to inconvenience anyone.
So as your boon, you can now equip leather armor, which is going to add 2 to your damage threshold.
Yes. Cool.
As I know you're angling a bit more fighty, so we now have info, we have armor, and someone didn't get murdered on the road by a random elf bounty hunter. Now, we'll talk encumbrance later because we'll talk. Wearing it changes things a little bit. So, and also I don't think you're carrying that much. So, as you're drawn off to do that, you are able to return to the party as Maeve seeks out the old lady, and she's easy enough to find. B, are you with them? Sorry, I keep saying Bia. B, are you with them?
I probably would have left the inn common space at a similar time. I had planned to like branch off, but for the first bit, I probably would have been in the vicinity.
So we'll come to you in a second then. Maeve, you come up to the old lady who is carving more of these wooden masks, and without looking up, she just goes, "I smell hounds and carcasses. One favored by the stag approaches." And she looks up and goes, "Who might you be?"
I'm a lost child, come as close to home as Faye can.
Lost no more, apparently. The amber wind seems to favor you. And the creatures of the amber wind also seem to favor you. How can I help you? As she takes a piece of wood off of one of the masks.
Tom, is the mask very unique to this particular town, or is it a pretty commonplace thing for like Fae folk festivals?
They're fairly unique in the sense that you've not really seen them made anywhere else. They are distinctly Fae in their design. They have a little bit of like a crest on them, and then they drop down to a triangular face. Eye slits kind of in them, bramble hair going back, and wooden antlers coming out to the side. And often stylized, sort of like wavy patterns cut into them. Sometimes they're painted, different colors, often very natural forest colors. But you've not seen this sort of thing in the south, where you are from, south part of the empire.
Okay. I think at her comment about the amber waves, I'm gonna like tap my like gold rings on her little counter and just be like, I've been told it fits my complexion. I was wondering if I could get something a little more personalized.
what were you looking for?
Something a little more crow-looking.
Huh. I think we can accommodate that. The harvest takes many forms, and crows are definitely among those who benefit from harvest season.
If you don't harvest the dead, they get grumpy.
Precisely. Especially recently. As you would know that, well, really, in the last, previously, undead in this world really had been wiped out for the most part until about 100 years ago. They started cropping back in. And the reference earlier about inquisitors being off to the east deals specifically with an instance the Empire's having with a bout of vampirism propping up in the east. And yes, restless dead have become quite the problem.
I like her.
Hmm.
Actually, I would like to. I have the talent for looking for like secret symbols. I'd like to see if I see any of that in as far as maybe something she's wearing or she's carving into the masks.
I'll say without a roll,
Cool.
with the talent, you notice the emblem of the Twilight Court has been inscribed on many of these masks. And she looks at you and goes, "Have you met the sisters?
I have not.
The twins of the Twilight Court?"
No, I would remember.
You seem to be caught up in all of this. You too have the smell of the old stag on you. You are not going to walk away from all of this. You are going to be pulled in. The Twilight Sisters may be ones for you to look to. And she just holds out, "Would you like a mask?"
Is she holding out like the mask I asked for, or just a regular mask?
She's holding out a regular mask that it's going to take longer to work up a crow themed mask than a few minutes.
Yeah, I figured. I'd love one. I'll just borrow this one until you're done with mine.
Well, aren't you sweet? I hope to see you on the other side of harvest season.
I hope so. I'm much better at that than the tilling.
Oh, the old stag does both. As we're going to cut to B.
B is Bay.
As you're moving
Hi.
about. It's still early in the day. As you move through, you come across what are you particularly looking for in the town, I should say?
I wanted to do a couple things. I wanted to check out the shrines that you mentioned, look around there, see if anything like resembles anything from the book, or if I recognize any of the symbols. And then after that, or maybe before, just depending on the crowd, if I wanted to go to the tree when there weren't a whole lot, when it was like a pretty thin, sparse crowd, and I wanted to check that out.
So when you move up to the hill, which is on like the south eastern part of town, basically the southeastern corner of the like massive open marketplace, it moves up rather steeply, and it goes right up to the edge of the forest, which is very close here. And it's, to be perfectly honest, as you move in, it's rather dull as you recognize all of the shrines. They're members of the Imperial, imperial pantheon, which by law, to keep the abyssal princes at bay, all members of the empire are duly required to worship. There's the custodian, the god of death, and but the one thing that seems out of place, number one, you notice, as in line with the northern provinces, the shrine of the god emperor is quite small, and the shrine of the Winter King appears to be quite large, as the Winter King is favored in these lands over the God Emperor. But the shrine of the Demirs, the Talde, is it's almost a temple. And as you approach it, there is a man in his late 20s, pale skin, swathed in furs with a wildly unkempt beard, who just says, "Welcome to the Temple of Talde, traveler. I am Meinhof. May I interest you in a prayer, perhaps making a sacrifice at the temple or at the altar?"
I'm gonna say, no, thank you for now. I was hoping you could tell me what you know about the shrines in this temple.
Well, as you can see here, we keep all the ways of the Empire and all of the ways of the Pantheon very close to our hearts. We observe all the high holidays and festivals, though in these lands, Talde is quite predominant, as we are in one of his old lands. The original inhabitants here are of Talde. The legend speaks of the original inhabitants living here in the Twilight Wood before the Fae came, being directly descended from the god Talde. And we keep his ways in the ways that our ancestors show us, the old ways, if you will.
And this festival, can you tell me more about the festival going on right now?
This is the Festival of the Harvest, the Autumn Festival held every year. Though this year, and he indicates the sky and the double moons of this world are still somewhat visible, and he says, this year will be a particularly powerful festival, as we are to have a double full moon on the eve of the festival. It will be a joyous occasion of Talde. There will be revelry, there will be drinking, there will be much feasting, and hopefully the village will prosper.
Would I know how long it's been since the last double full moon?
Yeah, go ahead and roll me. Actually roll me an education test, and since you are educated, right, you have a dot in education?
Yes.
Yeah, give me a plus 20 on this one.
Okay. 38.
38. What's your target number?
So I had 44 plus my dot plus the 20, so that would be 74.
Woo! Okay, so with 4 levels of success on this one, I'll say that you, again, having studied this rather extensively, line up that, a quick head count, the last time there was a double full moon aligning with the general date that they're indicating would have been, well, the deepest night in which all of the towns of this forest disappeared except Talde.
Okay.
The burden of knowledge, right?
Uh-huh. So I'm gonna say, well, I hope to see you among the festivities, and then I'm gonna I want to do just like a quick walk around of this little temple and like kind of get a scan of the outside. I'm assuming that I can't go inside.
He is more than welcome to let you inside. He is like, please come in and leave an offering. There's an open prayer space if you have a particular bounty that you're looking to collect, or you're just simply hoping for the forest to give you passage. I know you are a traveler. Hey, welcome raiders over from Kalanomicon. We're playing Spyhander. It's not creepy or terrible at all.
It's not terrible, but it's very creepy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say I'm not particularly interested in prayer right now, and I'm gonna do a quick scan of the outside and see if there's anything odd, because I know that the temple, like the size of it and its presence, is a little bit different than I would expect. So I want to see if there's anything like maybe carved to the outside, anything that might catch my attention.
So it's a fully built wooden building that the outside is adorned with furs and different manners of essentially hides and natural hunting trophies. The wood that is visible has been carved with various visages of Talde, but you notice several of the masks that you've seen on the town hanging on points and corners, and they appear very old, as if they are left up for extended periods of time on this temple.
Okay. I'm gonna reach in my bag and pull out the mask and notice that it's similar, and then I'm assuming that at some point B would have known better than to not accept a gift, and that is all of a sudden coming back to her. She was a little distracted by the idea of new knowledge when it was given. So she's gonna look at it and say, "Oh shit," and then she's going to place it on the outside of the temple and say, kind of to the mass, kind of to the air, no one in general, "I am returning your gift." And then she's going to leave it there, and she's going to leave the shrines and go back toward the tree.
You walk away, you feel this itching sense in the back of your neck as you walk away, as if the mask is looking at you.
I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna look back at it and kind of whisper to myself. The abyss also stares back because it feels significant. In this moment, it reminds her of that. And then she is going to just power through the unease and
do you say that? Do you say the abyss looks back out loud?
Very, very softly.
Okay. As you say that, within the realm of this temple, under the gaze of this mask, you hear a voice in your head it says,
"Oh no.
Child, I am not of the abyss. I am much, much older."
Why you gotta go and talk about the abyss in front of Plant Daddy?
Can I talk back? Like, can I respond to this?
You can absolutely say something.
I'm just gonna say, "Who are you?"
No response.
Okay.
Why does this make the goblin blood shots look like the most sensible plan we've come up with? It's because it is. Oh God, we're all gonna die.
Twelby, you feel a ripple as if a wind is gathering, and you smell just the slightest smell, and it's hard to place. It's like a dog that's been outdoors too long, but that's the extent of it.
Okay. I would like to. Is this? Does this feel like one of the winds? Is that what this feels like?
Potentially, yeah.
Okay, so like it might feel to Twellaby like it could.
Yes,
okay,
it
so
definitely-
I'm gonna use Witch Sight just to
Alright.
like observe.
Roll me
'Cause
an
I'm kind of looking for the jade wind, which would feel more familiar to me, but I want to like.
Roll me a flat
sense.
incantation. So no pluses or minuses, just whatever your training is plus whatever your incantation is.
I rolled a 51, which is 1 point under my.
Ooh.
1 point under the limit.
As you focus and you find your center to perform the spell, the smell of hound becomes stronger, and you open your eyes and you can almost see in the distance over the forest the beginning of a swirling of an amber wind off in the distance. And you see very light currents of jade running through, a slight hint of cinnamon as a red wind passes by, maybe the slight taste of copper as a little bit of the yellow wind carries through. But to be sure, the jade and the amber winds in this forest are dominant.
Okay. I think she's gonna be done at the shrines. She is significantly unsettled and wants to leave.
Those of you not at the shrines see a sight moving through the caravan, as it's been almost an hour plus since you initially exited. You see Lord Brune and several of his retainers in full hunting attire, carrying spears, riding horses, all seeming very jovial, drinking from horns, drinking from flasks as they ride up the northern road, and several of them blow on hunting horns as they begin to move up and out of town. Now, I do believe some people wanted to do some goblin blood shots.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we did want to do that. Yep.
yes, you did. So go ahead and roll me.
I also wanted to visit the tree. Can that be before or after?
Yeah. We'll do it after.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Roll me some resolve tests.
Now, when you say some resolve tests, do you mean roll a standard resolve test? Or like, because
I'm gonna opt to be nice here and say yes, a standard resolve. Test.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna use a fortune point.
All right.
The one good roll I've made all night. I rolled a 13 to not get wasted on goblin blood.
Faye is using a fortune point to re-roll, which gives me 2 misfortune points. Oh.
Yes!
All right. You two feel as you drink.
Oh no.
It hits.
Yes.
The alcohol hits super hard and super fast, and you feel an intense wave of violent aggression come over you, and it passes before you can reach for your weapons, looking at each other. But there's this half moment of both of you stare at each other, reach for your weapons with violent intent, and then just kind of snap out of it.
Hey, Z. I have
Before
an idea.
combat?
Oh fuck.
What idea?
There's some trash running through the woods right now.
Can we?
You want to go clean it up?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
To be clear, you are over an hour behind, and the Lord and his hunting party is set out on horseback.
It's true. But we just drank goblin blood and we're not necessarily thinking very clearly right now. So that was what... It seemed like some poor decision-making skills were begging to be exercised.
It is true. I will say that you are still able to do that general that basic math in your head. Like, it's been over an hour and the Lord is on horseback. Like, we probably won't beat the Lord to where he is. Wherever he is.
Compromise then.
We could fuck
compromise then.
We
could find... I was gonna suggest we find a fighting pit. I'm kind of sick of fighting trees, if I'm being perfectly honest.
We could go
Besides, they do the whole like gag chokey thing, and it's just, you know, there's no blood drawn when you're strangling. Not as much fun.
So they have orchards, which means apples or something. Apples get fermented into booze. Fey apples, fey booze, goblin blood, fey booze. Fun time?
Let's make it happen.
All right. So as Z and Agnieszka are getting epic levels of fucked up, let's switch back to Maeve and Canario. Is there anything else you would like to do with your day in town as the other two members of your party are getting absolutely shit-faced?
No. Canario is, he's more concerned that he hasn't seen them in a while.
Oh, you find them very quickly once they get into their cups. Yeah, once they get into their cups, they're not hard to find.
Ah, I see we are enjoying our day off. What are we drinking?
It's a specialty. Do you want to try some? Here's a shot.
No. I don't think it's anything he wants to know about. Nothing that you would like. Probably.
He grabs
disgusting.
a shot. He grabs a shot and he gives it a sniff.
It smells like alcohol.
It smells foul.
Isn't goblin blood also like black tar?
Probably.
Didn't we establish that in the first episode? I seem to remember it was like sticky, gross black blood, and we're just like guzzling it.
Very much so.
And I do recall to the first
Did
episode.
ever get that cleaned off of her, by the way?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, for sure.
So if I do recall,
Walking around with goblins.
Canario did spend some time dissecting what was it?
Yeah.
A goblin.
Yeah.
So he did in fact have a lot of what on him? Goblin blood. So he would probably recognize the smell, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Throws that shit on the ground.
What
foulness is this?
That was rude.
This is the blood of a goblin? Are we drinking? Would you drink my blood?
Probably. Are you fey?
If you were dead, yeah, probably. Don't want it to go to waste.
I wonder what human blood tastes like.
You fey are just... You're lucky I like you, Agnieszka. This is... I'm appalled. This is on par with cannibalism.
And I'm
It's
happy
not really
drunk, so I go, I'm Agnieszka. Nice to meet you, appalled.
Okay, dump it all out. Dump it all out.
All right. As Zia and Agnieszka begin to drink very heavily, I want both of you to roll me a D100.
Okay.
Fuck. $31.
51?
31. 3-1.
Oh, 31. Sorry.
85.
85. So the constant intake of goblin blood over the day, Zia, you start feeling your teeth feel almost sharp against your tongue.
Ooh, that's different.
You are going to gain the Fanged Maw, Taint of Chaos. Attacks made with bare hands gain the Entangling quality.
Oh my god, that's awesome!
What did you roll, Anna?
85.
85. As you continue drinking and continue partaking of this, you guys got really lucky on this table. I'm just saying, like, really lucky, because there's some bad stuff on this. There's some bad stuff on this table, and you two got lucky. It's hard to describe what an extra level of perception feels like, but you begin to see out of a third eye. You gain 9% to your base perception. You two lucked out so much. I am like, there's some stuff that messes with you.
So drinking goblin blood has been the best plan of this session.
If you drink their blood, you gain their power. We should have saved the heart.
Do I have a literal extra eye now?
You do. You're gonna be very, very careful in polite society with this. To be perfectly clear, the sharp teeth and the third eye, you two understand that leaving this region now could be immensely problematic for you.
Oh yeah.
This will make you targets of inquisitors and guards, and like, this is the sort of thing that people get burned at the stake for.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
just everyone to leave.
Yeah.
We'll just make friends with
To be fair, Zia's is far subtler and will not really be apparent unless, big toothy smiles or you take a bite out of somebody. So, however, Agnieszka, your third eye might be able to be passed off as fey bullshit, but still is potentially problematic in polite society.
Just cut some bangs. It'll be fine.
Yes, Anita. Yes. I'm gonna go chomp on some trees.
I'm so happy we got to use the Taint of Chaos table.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I want to go get some apples from these trees, and I want to make the best fey brews out of them, and then we're gonna add this goblin blood, and then we'll drink it, and more awesome things will happen to us.
Exactly. And if Canario tries to stop us, I'm gonna growl at him and try and bite him.
I'm so amazed that there's a range of things that can happen on this table, from like neutral to terrible, and there's occasionally a good thing, and you both rolled good things, and I'm happy for you.
Me too.
If you choose to roll that dice again, it'll be interesting.
The last time I had to roll on this table, literally, like, my fingers and toes blackened and fell off instantly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's some stuff that can happen. Now, as the day passes, B wanted to go see a tree. As evening falls, it thins out a bit, and you are able to make your way to the tree without too many people around. What are you looking for?
I'm just kind of observing. I want to see what kinds of things have been left behind at the tree. If there's like, you know how sometime at like monument type things, there's like a little plaque that like talks about it. If there's one of those, that would be wonderful.
There isn't. There's a variety of carvings that you recognize as symbols of Tal on it. A few of these weird the symbols that look like the mask that you saw. looking up, the tree is just full of these pouches and bones hanging from it. And as you stand there, a group of children go by, some of them wearing the masks, all of them apparently carrying some form of cutlery, and one of them has a rabbit that they caught. And you finally make out one of the chants that they're saying. And as they go by, they're chanting, "When the hunt comes your way, you best not run away. Arch your back, join the pack, bathe in the blood of the prey." And as you hear that, and the sun fully falls, you hear an angry, braying cry come from the forest. And that is where we're going to call this session for tonight. So, we're going to go around, check in with everyone, see where we can find everyone on non-Twilight Road nights. And we will all be back here next Friday for all the awfulness that is to follow. We're going to go in reverse order. We're going to start with Anna. Anna, number one, how you doing? And second of all, where can we find you?
I'm great. This is fantastic. You're going to find me trying to figure out how I add a third eye to all of this. That's going to be a lot of fun. That was super cool. That was super cool. I said earlier, this is definitely the most morally bankrupt Vihander character I've ever played, because even the pure evil ones have mostly followed the rules. Whereas I don't know what the fuck we just did, but it was really fun. So I'm excited to see what happens next. As for where else you can find me, my name is Anna. I'm at Nymeria941, most places on the internet. In addition to this show, I also do a stream over on Valdrian's channel, a Lancer game called Shades of Tartarus. That is before this. It's at 2 p.m. Eastern time on Fridays. And this coming Monday sees the return of a game that I have been dying to start playing again since we did it as a one-shot. And that is our series of Estate over on Colonomicon's channel. That is going to start at time zones. Monday evening, sometime Monday evening. I don't want to say the wrong time, but it's sometime Monday evening. And I'm very, very excited to see the return of those characters. We recorded a whole bunch of interstitial vignettes of what happened between the very dramatic ending of our one shot and then what we're going to go forward with. So that's going to be super fun. One last thing is that it's either today or tomorrow is the last day for casting calls for the new season over on Weave the Tale, which is formerly Encounter Roleplay. It's got a new name, new logo, all that good stuff. And I'm going to be GMing one of those games, Parslings. So if you're interested in playing a really cool narrative storytelling game that uses non-traditional game mechanics and is about having word parasites infecting your brain, apply to that, because it's going to be a lot of fun. And there's lots of other really incredible games that have open casting calls out. So definitely make sure that you go and check that out. And that's me.
Oh, outstanding. And for everyone out there, seriously, play with Anna. It's really fun.
Oh, thank you.
Moving on down to Faye. Faye, where can we find you? And how are you doing?
I'm doing great. This is the best decision. Chaos Duel. I love this. So you can find me at Almost Faye on Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok now, because reasons. blame Kelsey. And you'll catch me here, obviously, on Fridays. And yeah, that's all that I know about so far.
Well, moving on to the reason why you're on TikTok.
Yeah.
Kelsey, besides
Hi.
TikTok, where else can we find you? Well, go ahead and plug your TikTok, of course.
Hi, I'm Kelsey. I have been Tollaby Harper this evening, who makes fantastic decisions and is totally not gonna get all of her shit wrecked. You can find me on Twitter as crochet_baby. You can find me on TikTok as crotchety old woman. And I'm also Crotchety Old Woman on Twitch, although I mostly am just a chat gremlin. I don't do any streaming of my own. Yeah, this is the only game I'm in. My first long-term campaign, and I'm having fun.
Excellent. It's been really fantastic having you. Moving on over to Velvet. Velvet, where can we find you?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for sticking with us through this just a hotbed of chaos. I love it, and I love all these people tremendously. So, I've been Velvet Fair. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet at OG Brown Sugar. You can also find me, I believe, next Monday with our lovely Julio for X Millennials, an X-Men following Monday.
The first.
I don't know time.
Me neither.
Is this an X-Men themed game?
Yeah.
That sounds incredible.
It is.
Where is this happening?
Yes. No,
Everybody
seriously.
crits.
Everybody
crits. Is this on Twitch or YouTube? Twitch. Okay.
YouTube.
All right.
Anita just put it in the chat.
Yes. No.
Thank you, Anita.
I'm deeply interested in this movie.
I need this in my life.
Yeah. No. that's amazing. Julio, please tell us more about this game and also yourself and where we can find you and all that.
Velvet, were you done?
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool. So my name is Julio. You can find me at Poppy Chomplu on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, of the internet. I'm on there. I live there. I think we all do. And I run an X-Men themed show on Everybody Crits, which is a Twitch stream that I'm running on. And it is an X-Men game if the X-Men were founded in the year 2004. And it's been a lot of fun so far. I definitely suggest you give it a try, give it a watch. VODs are on YouTube, Everybody Crits. And yeah, February 1st will be our next episode.
Well, that's outstanding. And Hector made it this far into the game before he almost knocked over my green screen. We made it so close, buddy.
Almost
so
done.
Close, so close. I am Tom TP Grant. You can find me, frankly, until I only have one other game that meets only monthly. So Critical Misses is my home currently. Besides that, other than that, you can find me on Twitter at TP_Grant. I am also a mod at Weave the Tale, formerly ERP's Twitch channel, also their Discord, and also I'm on Critical Misses Discord. So please drop in there if you want to chat. But other than that, there goes my green screen. Hector has finally done the thing. Other than that, I currently don't really have any other games going on right now. This is my primary focus. And may I say, this cast has been incredible. You all are amazing. And I adore you all so much. I cannot wait to be back here again on Friday for the horribleness that comes next. But until then, we bid you all a fond farewell as we are going raiding. So please stay on our channel as we raid. I'm not sure who we're raiding, but we're going to raid somebody. So until then, we will see you all next week. Have a fantastic night or whatever appropriate time zone era you are in. Bye and see you next Friday.
Good night.